Most men have no respect for Jada. Most men think Jada is for the streets. No man wants to be with a woman like Jada Pinkett Smith. Outside of her looks, she brings absolutely nothing to the table that men like. Don't be Jada. If you have not learned anything else from my podcast, you should know not to be Jada. You are now listening to the authentic male perspective on dating and relationships. What is he thinking?
And now, without further ado, your host, Alexander B. Stevens.
What's going on? This is Alexander B. Stevens here for a quick second, bringing you the first official Alex reaction. What are we talking about today? We are talking about the slap heard around the world. Yes, that's right, Will Smith and Chris Rock, all over Jada. Now, what did Alexander B. think of the slap heard around the world? Well, initially, I thought it was fake. I thought it was part of a bit. I was a little curious as to why everybody was making a big deal out of it, because I thought it was something that these guys had talked about beforehand and was scripted just for shock value and comedic effect. But examining the video closer and thinking about what benefit would Will get out of doing such a thing, I thought better. Just the reactions of the parties involved and just the mere fact that most people felt like it was real, I decided to go ahead and go along with the fact that it was real. I initially was completely on Chris Rock's side. I thought Will was completely out of line and being ridiculous. Why? First of all, the joke was tame. G.I. Jane? Come on. G.I. Jane's a movie that's like a quarter century old. It's a real deep cut, indirect, somewhat corny joke, so I don't know why anybody would be so offended by it that they would have to assault somebody. Second, Will Smith laughed at the joke initially himself. The only time his mood changed is when he looked over at his wife and she was rolling her eyes. So all of a sudden now he's pissed off to the point that he has to barge on stage. Doesn't really make any sense. Furthermore, Will is like 6 inches and 60 pounds bigger / taller than Chris Rock. Add on the fact that Chris Rock had his hands behind his back and was kind of leaning in, thinking that Will Smith was going to tell him a secret before he got slapped. Guy code kind of indicates that this was kind of a sucker punch type situation, kind of a bully type situation. Why don't you pick on somebody your own size? Furthermore, do you think he would have went up there and did that if Amy Schumer was presenting that award, or Jimmy Kimmel, Jerry Seinfeld? The answer is no. Will Smith decided to take his frustrations out, and this is my ultimate point. This was a straw that broke the camel's back type situation. Will Smith is just pissed at all the flack that he's gotten over the last handful of years, basically all due to Jada, her recklessness, and the disrespect she's brought upon their household and their relationship. This is a straw that broke the camel's back, like the final straw. He took his frustrations out on poor, small comedian doing his job, Chris Rock, and he definitely wouldn't have targeted Chris Rock as somebody he could take his frustrations out on if Chris Rock wasn't a part of the only unprotected group in America, and that is of an African American man. He wouldn't have did it to a woman. He wouldn't have done it to a Jewish individual. He would not have done it to an individual of any other race. He would not have done it if the individual was LGBTQ. So he picked the only unprotected group. He picked the smaller guy, took his frustrations out on him. Why? Because his wife rolled her eyes? I mean, I thought they were friends. Will Smith, Jada, and Chris Rock have known each other for over a quarter century. So how something like this could completely go haywire, 0 to 100 real quick, really doesn't make any sense. Not any sense at all to me. Now, there are some people, at least initially, that were cheering on Will Smith, talking about he's protecting his wife and protecting women. This doesn't make any sense to me, because it's not like she was being viciously attacked by some random stranger. This was by an acquaintance, A. B, do we even know he knew that she had a hair condition in the first place? I know I didn't know. 75-80% of people didn't know she had a real condition. C, even if so, Will Smith provided a level 10 response to a level 3 offense, and it doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, if you dig a little deeper, some of the videos Jada has released in the last few years, she's basically said before that she doesn't really care what people think or say about her hair, and all she can do is laugh about the situation. Well, this was the perfect opportunity to laugh about the situation, and you chose to roll your eyes and indirectly sick your husband on him. I mean, men, we aren't attack dogs. If we, in the protection of our women, quote unquote, acted like this to every single minor offense, the world would be in constant chaos. And eventually, there would barely be any men left because we'd all be wounded or dead due to all this senseless violence over minor issues. You guys don't want a world like that, do you? In my opinion, a good wife, a good woman, holds her man back when he's about to make a rash, emotional decision or outburst. She doesn't sit back and let it happen or cheer it on. And this goes both ways. A good husband calms and soothes his wife when she's having an emotional event. He doesn't just sit back and let it happen or let her melt down. Bottom line, like I said before, this was just misdirected anger. This was short-term thinking. This was illogical. Now, I have heard some people predict or hypothesize that, Will and Jada are in a toxic relationship, and Will felt like he had to do this unless he would not hear the end of it from Jada. It's like Jada has a spell over him, a little controlling type thing over him. He's so smitten with her, and she's so about him that he's constantly trying to prove his love to her. And this was the latest incident of him doing such. I can buy that theory. I'm not going to 100% buy it, but it seems like a reasonable explanation. But anyway, bottom line, Jada and Will, but especially will have to pay the price for his sins. I've heard the production of his current movies have been put on pause, including Bad Boys 4. And as you guys know by now, he basically quit before he was fired as far as resigning from the Academy of Motion Pictures. So short-term rash decisions leave long-term damaging consequences. Last thing I have to say about this is I watched some YouTube videos analyzing the body language of this incident, and those experts once again confirmed what most people assumed, that it was most likely an authentic, true occurrence. This wasn't staged. Body language experts, furthermore, with the release of the new camera angle footage of Jada after the incident, when Chris Rock talked about, "Will just smacked the out of me," she laughed, and then she got real stiff and didn't even really look at Will while Will was going off on Chris Rock. She had no body language of concern or consoling or to calm him down or anything like that. It's almost as if she was more concerned with how she looked in that moment, her own image and her own reputation, over her husband and how he looked and how what he was doing was making the family look like. And that's just more evidence that Will Smith is more invested in this relationship than Jada is. Jada, all right, before I get out of here, ladies, I just gotta let you know how most men think about Jada. Most men have no respect for Jada. Most men think Jada is for the streets. No man wants to be with a woman like Jada Pinkett Smith. Outside of her looks, she brings absolutely nothing to the table that men like. Attitude, never satisfied, causes problems, doesn't bring peace, but she brings chaos, etc., etc. Don't be Jada. If you have not learned anything else from my podcast, you should know not to be Jada. And Will, most men have no respect for Will Smith anymore either. Why? Because of what he's allowed to go on in his household. And for him seemingly being in the position of no leverage, chasing after Jada and her validation, while Jada does whatever the blank she wants. So men in general have no respect for this couple or either member of the couple. So just keep that in mind. We will see over the next weeks and months what the fallout will continue to be with this Will Smith, Chris Rock, Jada Pinkett situation and the slap hurt route in the world. But hey, I just wanted to let you know what I thought about it. So hopefully you enjoyed that first episode of Alex Reacts, and maybe there'll be more where this comes from, maybe not. My page really isn't about reacting to celebrity gossip and celebrity current events. It's more about helping women out, teaching women how we really think about dating relationships, and I'm really trying to take women to school. My podcast is like a classroom. So if you really want to learn, you've come to the right place. If you just want to be entertained with nonsense, then maybe this isn't for you. But hey, I wish the best for you either way. In conclusion, Team Chris Rock. So glad his comedy tour has sold out and the ticket prices have quadrupled. And Will Smith, get it together, man. This is not a good look. All right, I'm about to get out of here. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Check out all the other marvelous content that I have on the page. And I will see you guys next time. Alexander B. Stevens out.